Hello, everyone. Welcome to Switchraft, the fingerboard podcast. My name is Jana, and today I'm sitting here with another virtual guest. Say hello.
Hi all, thank you for having me.
If you may introduce yourself.
Sure, my name is Jospe or Jospe, however you feel more comfortable pronouncing it. I'm the Fingercan owner. I've been more than 10 years on the fingerboard scene. Um, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, really happy that you're here as well. Um, so you mentioned you've been around in the fingerboard scene for 10 years. Uh, what got you started in fingerboarding? Like, how did you get into it?
Uh, it was longer than that because I was just a child at school. And I remember a friend of mine was doing a project for a signature called technology. I don't know, it doesn't make much sense, but he was
Mm.
building a fingerboard ramp, and that got my attention because back then I was starting to skateboard. I'm not too much into skateboard, like I don't know to do many tricks, but I was starting there, and I was impressed. So I discovered the little skateboards, and I tried to do things, but I was so bad. After that, I pretty much forgot about it. But then in 2009, I believe, there was a huge boom here in Spain, at least, and it was trendy all of a sudden. And every skate shop you went to, you would see those little skateboards, and it called my attention again. But this time I was more curious, and I started to look online what you could do with those little skates. And then I discovered the fingerboard scene. I discovered Mike Snyder videos. I discovered Black River and all the companies. I also discovered there were some fingerboard scene in Spain, which really caught my attention. And yeah, then I started with a tech deck, then my first online purchase, and so on.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, in 2009, I think the fingerboard boom had its like second coming pretty much everywhere. In Germany, like the first boom was in 2001-ish, and yeah, then again 2009. Those are like the two huge years, I would say,
Yeah.
for fingerboarding. Cool. So, do you remember what your first setup or your first proper setup was, or did you just start with a tech deck? Or yeah.
I spent a lot of time with the tech deck because back then, of course, I was living with my mom and she wouldn't allow me to buy online because I was a minor as well. So I spent a lot of time with a tech deck. I think if people go back to my YouTube channel and go back to my first videos, I think I was still using a tech deck if I haven't hidden the videos. Um, then I purchased a wooden deck um, from a company called Sugar Plant. It's not around anymore, but it was from here, from the Canary Islands, from Tenerife. So I bought it, and I spent also a lot of time with that setup, which was a wooden deck, but then tech deck, tracks and wheels. And it was a company many Spanish people remember, but I don't know if internationally people will know this company. But the name was JKR DCC, I believe. And he was a guy that was the first one actually to modify tech deck tracks. So he would shape them and make them look like real skateboard tracks with graphics and all of that. So I bought from him a couple of tracks and wheels, and that with the wooden deck that I already had was my first setup for like proper fingerboard setup for
Mhm.
my last one.
Cool. I mean that sounds like a good starting point for first setup.
Yeah.
So, did you have any like real life friends who started fingerboarding as well back then, or was it just that it was you and you discovered the online community?
Yeah, it was only me, and here there's the sad story about that. Well, sad, but it was an opportunity as well. There was no one fingerboarding here. Everyone was from the mainland, but I'm from Canary Islands, so there's a physical distance there. and that's
Mm.
actually what got me started into this project called Fingercan. Uh, the original idea was to build a community because I looked and I looked, but I couldn't find anyone here fingerboarding. Even the skateboarders, they didn't fingerboard, as far as I knew. So that's how I built the. It was a blog back then, and the idea was to just spread the word and contact companies and trying to see if we could start a new scene here.
Yeah, I thought that that it was how it happened. Yeah, that's. I mean, that's a good way or a good reason to start an online community like that. Did you ever build it around the forum, or was it just that you built a blog and slowly progressed it into something else? Or like how did it evolve from being just a blog to what we knew up until it sadly ended, which we'll cover later?
Yeah, so the forum was already existing, and it wasn't. I mean, I was not the owner, but there was this Spanish fingerboard forum. Yeah, back then there were a lot of forums. I almost forgot about that.
Mm.
It was in parallel. Like obviously, my main public to say was Spanish because I was reading in Spanish, so I used the forum to spread the word as well. But then suddenly I started to go more visits, and that's when I started to discover Canary fingerboarders, which was really exciting. And for me, that's when I mean, my goal was accomplished, but I kept receiving more and more visits and more fingerboarders, even from out of Spain, for example, from Portugal, because they couldn't understand exactly what I was saying, because back then it was proper blogs. I was uh, writing comments about the videos and all of that, and sharing my opinion, reviews, unboxings.
And everything in Spanish, or
Sorry?
everything in Spanish,
Yeah, yeah,
or
everything in Spanish. That's why the Portuguese were kind of trying to get into it. Then more people from the States and so on, and that's when I actually started to practice English, and I took the opportunity to, like, Fingercraft has been accompanying me, this path to progress both in the fingerboard way and the personal, because I used it as a way to improve my English skills. And then I started to write in English, and that's when, of course, it blew up and it got to more people across the globe. Then it became a website because the amount of visits I was getting, like, told me that it was time to move to the next phase, let's say.
mm,
And it was like that for a long time. I also got sponsors. Companies supporting the website financially, because the costs were so high, considering I didn't have a job. And then the later stage was that I did have a job, but I had been paying for 2 years for the hosting, the domain, and of course the time, which people often take for granted. But
mm.
no one was really visiting the site. It's this time where Instagram was the thing, and no one was visiting blogs anymore. So it wasn't really motivating me. So I decided it was time to let go of the website and keep Fingercan alive, but on the social channels.
Yeah, it was really sad to hear that you stopped the website because I only discovered Fingercan not much before you stopped it, like only like maybe 9 months before you stopped it, something like that.
Cool.
And but I can totally understand why you stopped it, and I think it's really cool that you try to keep it alive on Instagram, and I totally get that people today are just watching way more content on Instagram. And even I, who look for fingerboard news like all the time because I feel like I need to be up to date everywhere, like I only visit uh, fingerboard TV like every once in a while,
Yeah.
which is another, I think, similar website to yours. So yeah, I get why he stopped it. Have you ever been in contact with Martin Beckmann from Fingerboard TV, since both of your sites operated in a similar space, I would say?
Yeah, a couple of times I had a chat with him, but nothing too serious. Just comments
Mm,
here and there, happy birthday, all of that.
yeah.
Nothing too serious, but I have, I would say, a good relationship with him. I think it's clearly the best fingerboard website out there, and I have
Mm,
respect for what he does. And always, I never try to compete. Actually, Fingercan was always a fun thing, but uh, people think maybe you're competing with this guy or this other guy. Fingercan
mm,
TV was always a reference. So I can.
yeah. Yeah, the competing thing I understand very much, since currently there's a lot of new podcasts popping up, and people approach me and be like, "Hey, would it be okay if we start this?" And I'm always like, "Hey, fuck competition. Let's do cool things.
Yeah,
And if yours happens to be cooler than mine, then that's the way it is."
yeah, you can
Yeah,
learn also. The only thing that
yeah.
I couldn't stand was when people try to copy, like people try to copy Fingercam or Fingerboard TV, like straight up the logo. It's like, man, your Fingerboard TV already exists. Don't try to copy it. Or Fingercam. Some time
Mm,
ago, a guy copied the whole layout of the website. That really pissed me off. But otherwise,
crazy.
yeah. But otherwise, if you just create a blog or a podcast or whatever, as long as you are keeping it true to yourself, original, it's not copying anything out there. I mean, I think it's okay for the scene, more variety. So
Exactly. That's pretty much my thoughts as well.
yeah,
Uh, let's talk a bit about your location. You mentioned it a couple of times earlier, um, but just as a brief explanation, since I don't know if everyone is good in geography. The Canary Islands are technically part of Spain, correct?
yeah.
And they are in, I would consider, African territory. Um, is is that like, are you do you feel like you're more part of Africa, or are you 100% Spain? Like,
Uh,
because I think that's an interesting
yeah.
topic. Yeah.
Hard to say because I mean technically we're Spanish. We speak the language. We don't speak any African language, but we have a huge African influence over here. So being Spanish and having gone to, of course, to the mainland, what I can tell is that the lifestyle is completely different. It's sort of if you compare London with California. Like California, they will be more chill, more slow living. Where in London,
Mm,
like the weather also influences people, of course. So the mainland is maybe more like London, and this is more like California, I would say.
mm,
Comparison I can make, but I mean, I feel Spanish after all, but I don't feel like. Well, this is very common between Spanish people that we don't feel proud of our country. But I also don't feel African, so I feel just citizen
mm.
of the world. If that makes.
And do you visit Africa, or is it that you're like strictly, yeah, do you like strictly go to mainland Spain if you go to mainland, let's say?
Yeah, no, I actually have been only one time to Africa, and it was actually the other side of Africa, not the one that I have closer to me. But most of my trips in Spain, yeah, are to the mainland.
Yeah. And do you know if African fingerboarding has a scene? Because that is something I ask myself a lot of times, because it's not something I ever heard about, I think.
Yeah, lately, thanks to Instagram, I have been discovering people from Morocco, this fingerboarding, which really got my attention. I don't remember any Instagram handle right now, but I
Mm,
know that there are people there with great skills actually. fingerboarding. Some of them follow me on Instagram, but still I don't remember their names. But yeah, there is a little thing. I wouldn't say it's as big as the Spanish one or the German one. There
Mm,
are people out there. They're more like uh, the other countries of Africa that are not so close to me, like Kenya, Uganda, stuff like that. I don't think there's
mm,
any fingerboard scene there at all.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah.
cool. Let's talk about a bit about what Fingercan was before you stopped the website. Um, the the reason I found it was I think it was actually for the Halloween contest that I then took part in. You did do these kinds of contests quite regularly, right?
Yeah, once per year I started organizing the contests. The thing that got me into that was that at the time, like again 2010 or something like that, there were fingerboard contests. Especially in Spain, there was one that was really famous, organized by this forum, which was named Right to Glory. Maybe some people will remember it. But the mechanic of this contest was to record a line, and the rider who did the best line won the biggest prize, right? What I started seeing is that people were like maybe spending a whole week trying to record the perfect line. And as I was recording videos myself, I didn't find fun when I was trying the same trick over and over and over. Of course, at the beginning,
Mm,
you are new to fingerboarding, you don't do the tricks perfectly, you don't land them the first time. But trying to perfect the line is not something that I enjoy. It's not what I like most of fingerboarding. And there were more contests like that. So I was trying to change it, like not to complain, but to provide something different. Um, it was when I was seeing a skateboard video during Halloween that I think they are from Barcelona, the skaters. I don't remember the name, but they were recording a video super like dark Halloween theme, and uh, and I just love it. So I thought, man, it would be cool if I did something like this, but for fingerboarding, and that's where the idea to begin the contest came from. So then I was like building the rules that, of course, over the years were shaping themselves because you discover ways to improve things. Also, I'm really a fan of all American culture, so Halloween, of course, is a big part of it, and I was
mm.
so happy to be able to do something with it in fingerboarding.
Yeah, I really like when I saw it. I really enjoyed that it exists, and it was the rules were actually challenging in a good way. I think. Uh, are you? Do you have any plans to continue that series, or was it pretty much done with the website?
Yeah, I think I finished organizing the Halloween fingerboarding 1 year before I closed the website. I'm not sure right now. But the thing is that the last years there wasn't really much participation because it was also in this transition between YouTube and Instagram. So people
Mm,
started to upload short clips to Instagram and not so like full length videos on YouTube. So of course the contest was affected by that. Like we received like maybe 25 videos, and that was really depressing because it's a lot of work to organize a contest, leave alone a contest like the Halloween
but
fingerboarding. So,
but isn't 25 participants still quite a lot for a video contest like that?
yeah, of course, considering the theme of the contest, yeah, but compared to previous years, it was a huge drop.
Mm.
And yeah, I think it really didn't pay off the effort that we put into it, and the sponsors supporting the contest, and all the time that it took me. Like it was maybe even less than 25 actually. So that's when I said it's not motivating me also to
Mm.
be doing this every year. And you see how the numbers, I mean, not that the numbers is not the numbers what worry me, but people are not joining it. There are a lot of people, because right now I think like maybe 5 years ago the scene was going down, more people living fingerboarding, but I think, or it's my impression, that it's growing a little bit now. I see more,
Yeah, I have the same impression.
yeah, especially grown-up people, which is really really good, I think.
Yeah.
um, but still they were more into Instagram, and I actually tried to take the contest to Instagram, like to promote it there, to do things around it, to try to bring people back to the contest, but still it didn't work. So I just gave up.
Yeah, that's really sad to hear. So you probably have have considered and dismissed it, doing it via like completely on Instagram. Now that we have the opportunity to have longer videos on Instagram with I forget that with Instagram TV.
Yeah. uh, the last year I was actually hesitating between closing the contest or doing it on Instagram, but these long videos
Hmm.
weren't back then, I believe. So now maybe that you said, maybe we could bring it back. I'm not confirming it, but maybe we
Yeah,
could do something.
there's at least a possibility.
Yeah, maybe.
And have you considered doing a different theme instead of the Halloween, since you said that it no longer motivated you to do the same thing again? Have you thought about different themes over the years, or was it always that you stuck to the one Halloween theme each year?
Um, I think because fingerboarding is also part of the same culture that skateboarding is, which is very like underground thing. People really like the Halloween theme for this kind of contests, because one year, in all of those efforts to try and get more people on board, I decided to not do the Halloween fingerboarding contest, but instead do a Christmas theme, and it wasn't the same. Still, yeah, maybe more people joining, but not so many. And you see the videos, and it wasn't as unique as the Halloween theme. So I think I personally really
Mm.
love the Halloween theme, and I always get comments from people, bring it back, bring it back. And I think if I did it, it would be Halloween again.
Yeah, I would consider myself one of those people who want you to bring it back, and and not only because I got a few things in prizes last time, but yeah. I really enjoyed making the video back then, because what what challenged me and what I initially found, oh, I have no idea how to do this, was that you required, I think it was 45 seconds of non-fingerboarding related intro.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
yeah,
Yeah, and that was something I think that was really unique for a fingerboard video, because a lot of times when you see parts on Instagram or even in longer form videos, there's rarely an intro to anything. Like that was uh, one of the things that I had as criticism for some videos that dropped this year, where some of the parts it was just jumping right into fingerboarding, no intro, no outro. And I really liked that you forced everyone to create an intro and to do something unique and not just dim the lights and yeah.
yeah. Thank you. I'm really glad to hear that. Like that's what really was the motivation to keep doing the contest. Like people saying, "Man, this is so fun to do." Like I acknowledge that the rules maybe leave a lot of people out of the contest because they feel like they cannot
Yeah, probably.
something like that. I know that, but I also think that people who do join say the same thing year after year. Like, man, this is so fun to do, and I believe like how to say, like restrictions really boost creativity. So if you are allowed to do,
Exactly.
yeah, like if you just could do some lines without any intro or something like that, you're just recording a fingerboard video during Halloween, but you're not doing really a proper video for the contest.
Mm.
So yeah,
yeah, I think it was actually the first video I ever filmed, like the first proper video part I ever filmed for fingerboarding, because I it really intrigued me, the whole idea. And I've been in the gothic scene for like probably more than 15 years, so anything horror and Halloween related always was near and dear to my heart. Or probably not horror films because I'm way too scared for that. But yeah, I really like the aesthetics and all of the things. So when I saw that your contest exists, it was like, okay, I have to come up with something. And I think it took me quite a while till I came up with the concept of the video. But like I said, I really enjoyed that I had to come up with a concept and that I had to think about it, something unique and yeah, not just like I said, film something and drop it during Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that people like you can relate to the contest. Like, to me, that's the beautiful thing around it.
Yeah, I even borrowed the camera from a friend of mine uh, to actually be able to record the video, and now I bought a similar camera for myself and really enjoy producing parts. And that was like the first taste of a part that I filmed. So it really got me going into the whole part creation or the whole fingerboarding as a part. Yeah, and I really, really enjoyed that. That's why I'm also quite glad that you agreed to do this interview because, yeah, it means a bit to me. So, yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, thank you. I actually appreciate it because I also remember your part, and it was really, really fun to watch. I think it was a solid entry, so
Yeah,
I'm happy to be here.
yeah, because when I looked at all the other videos that dropped in the past for the contest, I was like, well, everyone is so serious, and I went for the low budget splatter horror movie aesthetic with like where you can like see that it was like 10 budget for the whole thing. Yeah. But things like that I think are really cool that you have to come up with a concept and do something creative. And maybe maybe this inspires others to do a creative video in the future. It doesn't have to be for a contest like that. It just can be something where you set parameters for yourself and try to do something in those parameters and do something unique.
Exactly, and also for companies maybe listening to this podcast, like maybe I know the first option always comes to mind to them to provide like to how to say to gain more followers is to do a giveaway and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think that slowly kills the scene. Maybe don't kill it, but it becomes boring. Like if all I have to do to get stuff for free is to repost a picture that later I can delete, uh, that's really easy. So why I'm gonna do something that is more complicated?
Yeah, the whole mention free people in the comments
Yeah,
thing, like at this point it's just annoying. Like every time I get tagged in one, I don't think, ah cool, a giveaway or ah cool, a company. A lot of times I just block the company if it's not a company that I'm really behind. Cause yeah, it's just we've seen it a million times.
yeah. Maybe at the beginning, two or three companies that was okay, but nowadays everyone is doing it, and it's. I mean, I'm really sick of it. Like, I wish a
Yeah.
bit more companies did contests or something like that. Yeah.
But let's talk about another thing you did do as a Fingercan and still do now, the setup of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy looking at those setups, and I think a lot of different Instagram accounts have tried something like that because I think there's been a number of Instagram profiles who try to do a setup of the week, and but I don't think any one of them actually caught on. I think it's mainly just yours that still is around, and I know people like, for example, teammates of mine from Five Luck. It's almost like a trophy or a badge of honor. Like that I only have one setup of the week so far is like, I'm free behind the others or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the the thing that got me into the setup of the week in the first place was in this back when Fingercan was a Spanish citizen, let's say. I went to
Okay.
this forum and people posted their setups, and sometimes you got to see a better setup than others. And I was thinking of a way to highlight those. So that's how
Mm.
it first started, and then gradually I was switching it to Instagram because I saw early that people were into that social network. So I said, why not? If Fingercan is going like international, we have to leave this forum and start allowing other sources. And yeah, I don't even remember how many setups of the week we have. Like I lost the count, but must be like 500 or or more. I don't remember.
Yeah, it looks like a lot. Like if I scroll through your Instagram profile, it looks like there's a lot.
Yeah, especially because if you got till the end of my profile, that's not everything. Like
Mm.
maybe on the website there were like 200 more or so.
Uh, do you have an idea, or I think I actually know the answer to that? Do you know who got the most setup of the week?
Uh, hmm, like quite a few people. Like a year or two ago, it was Frosty. I think he's not around anymore. He got a child, and that's why I think. But Frosty, then um, Lionel. This is
Yeah, that would have been my pick.
Yeah, I think so. And then also Valentina from Brazil. She also got some setup of the weeks, and she did something really cool, which was frame pictures of all the setups on a wall. That was really awesome to see.
And yeah, I recently framed my old decks. It was quite a lot of fun to do. Yeah, and I also think that Helena from Goat on the Road also has quite a few setups of the week, if I'm correct.
Yeah, lately she has gotten some
Yeah.
of them as well. What I try also is to like some people know my criteria for choosing it. Of course, it's the best setup of the week, so it has to be the best one of that week. That's self-explanatory. But I also try to give a chance to different people. Like if I see the same rider has been the winner for 2 consecutive weeks, I'll try to pick someone else because some people can afford to have a new setup every week. But I know
Mm.
not the reality for most of the people. So I try to give a chance to everybody.
Yeah, I actually posted something for the setup of the week today. So let's see if I get to add a second one to my.
Let's see, let's see. Oh, hi, I got a bank transfer from you.
Hmm?
I got a bank transfer for you. Is this?
Ah, yes. I will send you the money later.
Yeah, 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 okay.
Um, I have another question about your area and the like unique circumstance of living on an island state. Um, you mentioned a couple of times that you are or feel much more part of the of Spain and therefore I assume the Spanish fingerboard scene.
Mhm.
Uh, do you do regular trips to fingerboard events in Spain? And like the follow up question, are there fingerboard events in Spain, or is there like a huge scene at the moment? Because I only know about the Portuguese fingerboard scene, which is quite huge, and I think all of the big companies from that area that I know are probably all from Portugal, and I don't think I can remember a single Spanish company from the top of my head.
Yeah, like back in the day, more often there were a lot of contests in Spain, and I went to a lot of them. I traveled quite often. but then as the scene was slowly dying, let's say, they stopped, or at least I stopped going to them, and now I see more people doing them. Like, and the cool thing I think is that back in the day it was just a company doing them in their own way, which at the end I wasn't like agreed with how things were done. But now there are different companies. Like one of them is from Malaga. And it's called Alp, ALP.
I was just remembering that I think they are from Spain. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also some independent people, like some friends just meet up, but in a in a big way. From Madrid, also there are people doing meetups and contests, but not like back in the day, I would say.
Mm. And there's no like hub like there is in Porto, like no one place where it gathers around or
No,
a group of people.
no, unfortunately, no. There used to be a shop, but not anymore, and I don't think there is any place like that.
Yeah, I know that it was very close that a second Black River store was supposed to happen, and that one was supposed to be opened in Madrid. Don't know if you know about that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it was quite sad to hear that didn't work out.
yes,
Yeah, and probably you are even more, or the Spanish fingerboard scene as a whole.
yeah. That's actually why I try to also boost the local scene here in Canary Islands, because I was traveling a lot, and while it was fun and to meet people and see new places, at some point it became a little bit boring, and I was more excited to meet people here and to be able to, you feel like you want to fingerboard with meet with friends. You don't have to
Mm.
get into a plane. You just go to the city and you meet with your friends there. It's much easier. And right now we don't have events also here. Um, all the events here were organized by me and by other writer named Willie, which is Caramel Fingerboards on Instagram. But we are in the middle of a pandemic, so obviously right now we wouldn't do it. But
Yeah,
it's been quite a long time since the last time we were doing meetups some weeks ago and stuff like that. But yeah, not many contests.
and is there any like exchange between the Portuguese scene and the Spanish scene since they are location-wise quite close together at some points, or do you think that the Spanish scene more looks towards the east to like the German scene and uh, yeah, and scenes like that?
Um, a bit of everything, like 2 or 3 years, I don't remember now. There was a competition between Portuguese and Spanish fingerboarders. Like it was called Batalla Ibérica. And when it was held in Portugal in the Y store, but that was it. The rest, yeah, people close to Portugal in the north of Spain, they will visit the Yellowwood store. People from the rest of the country sometimes as well, but mostly the Black Rivers, the now Asi Berling store. But still,
Mm.
I don't think people from Spain travel abroad too often for fingerboarding.
Yeah, I don't think I met that many people from Spain because being a local of the Berlin shop, I think I met people from pretty much all European countries, and I remember or I do remember two from Spain, but one was only living in Spain temporarily, and the other doesn't live in Spain anymore, and back then also didn't live in Spain anymore. So yeah, I don't think I've met too many fingerboarders from Spain.
Yeah, it's also, I think, due to the like economic and political situation here.
Mm,
Like most fingerboarders in Spain are very young, if not
mm.
kids, so they don't have either a source of money or they have a job, but they can barely pay the rent and the food, so they cannot afford traveling. I think that would,
Yeah, sure, and it's quite far. Like
yeah,
I think people from the States always think, Europe is everything is close together.
Yes.
But like for example, from Madrid to Berlin is actually a couple of hours. Like
You can go in like walking, right?
what?
You can go walking from Madrid to Berlin.
Yeah, sure, sure. You just have to walk over the Pyrenees and yeah, and maybe in like a few months you actually arrive in Berlin.
Yeah, it's a bit more complicated than it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a couple rapid fire questions for you. So try to answer them like as with the first thing that comes to your mind, and yeah, we'll just go through them.
Okay.
So first question: what's your favorite wheels?
Flat face.
Favorite deck and shape?
Uh, Peace pants domesticated.
That's a good shape.
Yeah.
Same as the wheels. Favorite trick and flat?
Probably tree pop.
That's also my favorite. Favorite trick on obstacle?
Like street or bird?
On doesn't matter as long as it's on any obstacle.
Probably it's very basic, but I love it. Tree flip nose green.
Yeah, that's a fun one, but to me it's always I never get consistent at that. Favorite music song right now?
Oof. Uh, wow. That's really difficult. I listen a lot of rap music, but to choose one, um, I couldn't do that.
Okay. Do you prefer outdoor fingerboarding or indoor fingerboarding?
Outdoor.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a UX designer.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
I'm a web developer, so we're in a similar
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
Favorite obstacle?
Probably a quarter.
Uh, concrete or wood ramps?
Wood ramp.
Switch or regular?
Regular?
Do you have any hobbies outside of fingerboarding?
Um, Not like fingerboarding, but I would say fingerboarding is the main one. I also like um, basketball and photography, but yeah, that's about it.
A flat ground with an obstacle or a park? Which one do you prefer?
Since I don't have access to parks, I think I prefer the park.
Heel flip or kick flip?
Hill flip.
Uh, what was your first fingerboard event?
Um, it was in Seville, the south of Spain.
Uh, homemade ramps or bought ramps?
But because I'm terrible at doing that.
What's your favorite food right now?
Food, you said?
Yeah, food.
Pizza forever.
Loose or tight trucks?
Medium.
Last trick you learned?
Ooh. Uh, it was a long time ago. uh, I'd say laser flip because, funnily enough, I never tried to do it.
Yeah, I'm not good at lasers. Favorite fingerboard video?
Hmm. Wow. I have many fingerboard videos that are my favorite. Uh, Probably any from the Harrix, like
Yeah,
from
there are quite good ones.
yeah, session at the Harrix were my favorite, hands down.
Uh, do you prefer to have one setup or multiple setups?
Multiple setups.
What trick do you like doing least?
Doing what? Sorry.
Doing least. For example, if I
Oh, yeah.
played you in a game of skate and would do that trick, what
Uh,
would you hate?
Nollie 360 flip.
Plastic or urethane wheels?
Um, Plastic for indoor, urethane for outdoor.
Yeah, that's solid. Favorite beverage or drink?
Right now, water because I stopped drinking. I'm drinking soda as well.
Oh, cool. Do you have any sponsors?
No,
Do you ride 32 or 34 millimeter?
I think it's 32 right now.
What would be your dream sponsors?
Um, GoPro and Black River.
Um, what's your favorite Instagram follow? Like, what account do you enjoy seeing content of the most?
That's a tough one.
Or a secret tip that you can recommend to people?
Account probably Asi Verling or um, these guys from California, like Sorry for Fingerboarding, I think their name.
Mm.
Probably those.
And what's your favorite overall company?
Mm, Probably Bispans and Berlinwood as well.
Yeah, sadly, Berlinwood has been a bit dwindling, but maybe that gets better in the future.
Yeah, I met Timo when I went to Berlin. We even went to a concert together, and I had a good time. He's a really down to earth guy.
Yeah, he is. He's so cool to hang out with.
Yeah, and so easygoing. So I just loved his like vision of life, and the way he handles the company. I think it's really great. And the decks, of course, are fun to ride. So it all
Yeah.
comes together.
So yeah, I think this brings us to a conclusion. Do you have anything you want to shout out or anything you want to mention before we go?
Yeah, thanks for all the people listening to this podcast. I think it's really great that they are coming out. Like, and I'm grateful you have this way of communicating with the scene. I'm a heavy podcast listener actually, so I think it's a good thing to have. Um, and thank you, of course, for having me.
Yeah, absolutely my pleasure. So yeah, thanks everyone to listening, and yeah, you hopefully catch me in around 2 weeks with the next episode. So bye.
Bye.